Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Tuesday, February 24th. This is our daily NBA show that we've been doing with Joe Duffy from OffshoreInsiders.com. Yesterday, Joe Duffy and I both gave a winner. That brings my record to 15-10 against the spread and brings Joe Duffy to 17-10 against the spread. And those aren't even his top plays every day on the NBA card. Those are my top plays, but those are Joe Duffy's secondary plays. Joe Duffy, thanks for being back with us.
Well, thank you for having me, Peter.
Joe Duffy, you're an industry veteran, but here we are in 2015, and you're 17-10 against the spread in our show. Do you think that roughly we can expect that to continue from you, or do you think that it's going to revert back to 50-50?
No, it's definitely not going to revert back to 50-50. I wouldn't be in the business since 1988, that's why I haven't been on screen lately, because you said I'm so old, I'm scaring people away. But, there's a lot of experience in that gray hair.
It's all about ratings. All we need is your words and your precious opinions, and, of course, your valuable pick. 17-10 against spread. Joe Duffy's website is offshoreinsiders.com. All right, tonight we got 4 games, small card. I have one pick that I think I'm going to give here as a pick. It's a little bit curious that the line is where it is, but I'm going to go with it. It's Toronto-Dallas, and I think I'm going to go with the under. On the overnight, it was 205. Then I bet that at 205. Then the first jump was up to 205.5, which scared me a little bit. Now it's back down to 203.5 and 204, which is about the movement that I would have expected, although that initial jump makes me a little bit nervous, and if we see it close late at 207, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on the wrong side. But I'm going to go with the under here, 204. Dallas has gone under in all 3 games since the break, and Toronto 1-2 over/under since the break. Their last game just went over by just a little bit. They're off a back-to-back. Sometimes Dallas disappears on defense, yes, and sometimes Toronto has explosive offensive games, but it's a high total, under 204. What do you think about that, Joe Duffy?
No, it's a good, solid pick. They've actually gone under all 3 without Chandler Parsons, and, he's one of those type of players that can sneak under the radar. When you have an absolutely star player who's out, the odds makers are going to account for that, but when you have a guy like Parsons where he averages 15.4 points per game, and, he could easily sneak under the radar, maybe not enough adjustment for him being out, and Toronto is playing back-to-back 3 games in 4 days, so maybe they'll slow the pace down a little bit. So that's a good, solid pick. Not my official free pick, but one that I certainly will not try to talk you out of.
Like I said, that initial jump made me nervous, and if we see it at 204 now, and then 15 minutes before game time, it's 206.5, I'm going to be smacking my head. But whatever, I'll go with this pick. I'm 15-10 against spread. I can deal with a loss. Hope I have a win. What's your pick for us on tonight's card, Joe Duffy?
I think I'm going to go, well, I do know I'm going to go with Cleveland. It's really a case where the Cavaliers are finally starting to turn it up. We know that they were one of the most disappointing teams in the NBA for quite some time, but they seem to be turning it up a notch, and teams that are now 4-29 since November 26 of 2010, if they're a home dog with at least 1 day rest after a double-digit win at home in which they scored 10 or fewer fast break points. So that does say to fade Detroit, and Cleveland with the best offensive efficiency over the past 15 games, best in the NBA at 112.2 points per 100 possessions. So it looks like, after Cleveland was kind of pacing themselves early on in the year, they've been playing quite well and very efficient as of late. So a pretty decent spot. Detroit, of course, has actually done fairly well without Brandon Jennings, but in a game like tonight where they're going to need some offensive firepower, I think that'll hurt a little bit more. So we'll go with Cleveland laying the lumber.
All right, well, right now, -6.5 is the market-wide number, and yeah, the Cavs have turned it up. Absolutely, they're awesome recently, but Detroit's also playing well. They've covered both of their games since the break, and Detroit is great rebounding. They have some deficiencies in other areas, so they are the kind of team that maybe I'd want to bet on when they're playing mediocre teams, but yeah, I agree with you that I'd maybe want to fade them against elite teams. But considering how well they've done, themselves, and they've covered both their games since the break, and they're at home getting 6.5, a little bit nervous?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's one of these cases where I do want to give everyone a free pick with only a few games to choose from. It's not actually a good premium day, but no, I definitely feel it is a high enough percentage play where for it to make mathematical sense, it's got to have at least a 55% chance of covering, and I do think it does definitely meet that.
All right, I trust you, Joe Duffy. Joe Duffy's free pick, Cleveland, -6.5. I'm taking under 204 in Toronto, Dallas. And tonight, Joe Duffy, you have a bunch of college plays and anything in the NBA or all college tonight?
No, looks like all college tonight, but, we got a couple other services at our website. I believe Stevie Vincent's got some NBA, all that and more at offshoreinsiders.com.
All right, sounds great, Joe. Talk to you tomorrow.